Happy holidays in July. It is crazy to think that as of recording this, we are already halfway through July, which means that summer is flying by. And before we know it, the holidays are going to be here, which is why I wanted to take some time today to record this video. So we really make sure that we are planning and preparing ourselves financially for the holidays. And not only that, it's interesting. I was doing some research for this episode and I found a statistic from US Newsweek and Reports, and it said that during the holidays, on average, per person, we spend $902. Now, this includes spending for gifts, food, and also decorations. This does not include vacations, and it's interesting if you go back to previous episodes. Over the last few weeks, I have been spending a lot of time talking about financial planning for your vacations, for your holidays, and really getting that time away to rest and recharge. That number, that $902 I just talked about, that does not include planning for time away. And as we know, especially having kids out of school and a lot of businesses and companies are closed with that time between Christmas and New Year's, a lot of us go away. I know personally, myself and my team, I close our office between Christmas and New Year's. It's a great time to rest and recharge, and so I like to go away. And so I like to make sure too that in my own budget, I am planning for a vacation, even if it's a staycation, those as well can add up. So making sure over that $902, I am budgeting for that holiday season, and included in that is that time off and that vacation time. So that's why today I want to make sure we are really focusing on preparing for the holiday season before it is here because it will be here before we know it. And it was interesting, as I was also preparing for this episode, I was thinking about the fact that we used to have those holiday savings accounts, right? As we were leading into the holiday season, we had money that was taken out of our paychecks, every couple of weeks, and it would add up, and all of a sudden, as we got to Thanksgiving time, you had a separate holiday savings account that your bank was automatically pulling for or that you had enrolled into that you were then automatically prepared for now when the holidays rolled around. However, a lot of banks and financial institutions have done away with that. So we now need to do this financial preparedness and that holiday spending ourselves. And there's a lot of buyer's remorse that typically happens when the Amazon bills and the credit card bills come around in January. And so, what I want to make sure is that you are ready and equipped when that time comes around. So, that is why we do so much of this planning this time of year. We don't want to plan when it is too late because why plan at all at that point? So, what's great is that you have all of that data now from last year. And so, I actually want you to go back, and in the digital world that we live in, this should be pretty easy. I want you to go back in, go into your Amazon cart, go into your credit card statements, or if you use a debit card, go back into your bank statements. Take a look. How much money did you spend during that holiday season last year? And be honest with yourself, right? It is so easy to be like, oh my gosh, no, I couldn't have spent that much. Get real. It is amazing how many people I will talk to, and they're like, no, 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 there's no way I could have really spent that much. I know it can be hard, but take the time, be honest with yourself, open up those statements and say, okay, what did I really spend? And get clear. And as I mentioned in that $902, it's spending on decorations, on food, on things also like clothing, right? When you go to holiday parties, that New Year's Eve outfit, New Year's or, holiday photo outfits for the kids, all of those different things really start to add up. And so I want you to be clear on where those different expenses were coming from and how much they were. The other thing in as well is be honest about what things have changed over the last year. Did you have a new child? Do you have people who aren't in your life anymore that you don't have to purchase gifts for, right? Things happen, life changes. So get clear and say, okay, I'm going to have to purchase for this person this year. Maybe you got married, you have now in-laws you have to purchase for, or maybe you no longer have people in your life that you're going to have to make these purchases for. So you can even kind of start to mentally make that list and see how those shifts are going to happen. And also be honest about what charitable donations you did or didn't make. Maybe that's something you're sitting here saying, you know what, I really, you know, made a lot of charitable donations this year. That's something I want to make sure I'm considering doing again this year and have the ability to do so and take a look. What were those donations you made? And, do you want to be keeping on track for that this year, or do you even want to be doing more? And be honest about those amounts and go back, and you can even look in tax records or go through your emails. A lot of times organizations will email you how much you donated for the year, and you can see what those amounts were. Maybe you didn't donate last year and you're like, you know what? Money was tight. I didn't plan for it, but that's something I really want to make a priority and make space for this year. Now, by doing this planning early, you can make the time and hold space for that. And so if that is something you intend to do, I want you to just take out a piece of paper or do it in the notes app in your phone and say, you know what, here are the organizations I would love to donate to, and whether you want to donate funds, maybe it's even gifted or appreciated stock that you're sitting here and, consult with your financial team and say, hey, let's really, maximize in a tax efficient way this year. What's the best way to do this? I heard there's something we might be able to do. Ask them about it and say, what are the different resources and tools we can use? Or maybe you have items around the house that you're like, I need to declutter, we need to get rid of things. What other things can you give to these charities and organizations? Start planning for it and prepping for it now. Also, be clear too. Do you want to host this year? Maybe it's something you're like, oh, I've been wanting to host for years, but it always comes up too last minute and I'm never prepared for it. Now you have the time and the space to start thinking about it, right? And be honest of what will that cost look like, right? We talked once again about that $902. And let's say you're like, wow, that really adds up when you start hosting and all the additional expenses. It is totally fine to ask people to bring things. Tell them what you want and ask for that help. There is nothing wrong with that. And as you are going through, get clear on what things are going to cost. Do some back of the napkin math and give yourself a buffer. It is amazing how many times people try to say, okay, this is all I'm going to spend during the holidays. And let's be honest with ourselves. We are human and we all fall into the hype of seeing different sales pop up. And we also want to purchase things for ourselves during the holidays. I'm amazed how many times I see people skip over buying things for themselves, getting a nice gift or two for yourself during the holidays. We rush around, we do so many things for other people, and we forget to include ourselves on this list. Or we grab things that are last minute and it blows the budget and we get so frustrated. So make sure you keep a line item for yourself. And so give yourself to some buffer when you are kind of setting this budget for yourself. We are also now a couple months out, so set your savings goal. How much do you want to be setting aside each month? So that way, when those credit card bills start rolling in, or if you want to pay debit come December, you have this money already set aside. So you're not sitting here in January going, where the heck is this coming from? And then this way, you are prepared and ready to go. The last thing, too, I want you to think about is, are you going to be taking some vacation time or doing a big trip? You can also go back and reference my video from last week that talks about how to financially plan for these big trips. There's a lot of great tips in there to help you financially think about these big trips, but a lot of these big expenses are going to start sneaking up on you. So I want to make sure you are financially prepared for them. And like I said, this is not included in that $902. And so this will put you well and above. Now, it's up to you if you want to include this trip as part of your gifting to your family members, or if this is just part of what you do every year. That's something that you and your family have to decide and work through together. Or if it's a solo trip, you might want that to be your big gift to yourself, or maybe it's just part of what you do each year. You have to decide what is right for you and your financial situation. Now, the other thing I want you to do is make sure that you understand all of the costs going into the trip so you are purposefully cash flowing this and understanding, okay, when are a lot of these expenses coming up, especially if you are starting to plan that trip now. You're going to be paying for things like the hotel, if you're flying there, the flights, and you want to make sure you have spending money before you leave for the trip, so that probably won't come up until that December timeframe, but that is right when a lot of those big holiday purchases are coming up. So head back over to my other video too to make sure that you are tuning into all of those different tips and tricks so you have it to plan financially for that trip. It is crazy because the holidays will be here before we know it. And so, if there are any things that you are thinking about or questions you have, make sure you drop them in the comments section below. And next week, we will have some incredible coffee conversations that I can't wait to share with you. And we will have more holiday prep and planning videos as we head into the fall months. And stay tuned and make sure you are subscribed for all of the amazing things to come. Happy holidays in July, and I look forward to seeing you soon.